There is no place quite like West Point in the fall. It is a special time of the year at a special place in our country. As an academy, its mission has been to educate, train, and inspire the Corps. And as incoming freshmen, the plebes are quick to learn what stands front and center in each of these areas. In academics, it is a well-rounded education. In military training, it is leadership. In athletics, it is football. And in football, it is the Army-Navy game.
Got nuke Navy, got squash the squids, got sink Navy, sink the squids, slap the squids, kill the squids, beat Navy, beat them bad.
This was the 87th meeting between the two service academies. And for Army, the success of the entire year rested on the outcome. A victory here meant both a winning record and the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. For the cadets, it was an entire season wrapped up in one big game. The 1986 football season was one of peaks and valleys for the Army team. It featured an opening day victory over Syracuse, as well as a heart-stopping come-from-behind win over Tennessee in front of over 95,000 volunteer fans. As they prepared for the Air Force game, head coach Jim Young and the cadets found themselves at a turning point in their season. In the war for the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, this was the first battle to be fought. The cadets treated it as such, declaring Mikey Stadium a war zone. Wearing camouflage to emphasize their commitment to victory, Army scored the first 3 times they had the ball. They added another touchdown in the fourth quarter, en route to a 21-11 triumph. The Black Knight defense played the game to near perfection. They broke the Falcon version of the wishbone offense, and the Army team once again stood on the verge of football supremacy among the academies. They came from every regiment, every battalion, every company. They would empty every hall, every barracks, every residence. From the newest plebe in the Corps to the superintendent of the academy, they were there. On no other campus, in any other town, for any other team, will an athlete find the support of the student body which exists here at West Point. The team is confident that their classmates are with them, and they use that knowledge to draw strength, motivation, and support. At 7 a.m. on the day before the Army-Navy game, the Corps of Cadets came en masse to send their gridiron warriors off to battle. They came to show their team that the long gray line stood behind them, 100%. The Army-Navy game is more than just another football tradition. Each contest is a classic piece of American sports history. Every player on both teams can truly be called an All-American. It is the embodiment of athletic competition, with teamwork and leadership inspiring all who are present. For the Army seniors, it would be the last football game of their career, and they would play it with the character and poise that comes from being a West Point cadet. On the defense, seniors Dave Shire, Bill Sanders, Bill Horton, Jim Brock, Lou Dainty, Reggie Fullwood, Larry Biggins, and Tim McGuire would lead Army to one of the biggest victories in their careers. It is said that the Army owns more boats than the Navy and more planes than the Air Force. But this Army outfit leads its offensive attack on the ground. The leader of this wishbone infantry is junior quarterback Torrey Crawford. In 1986, Crawford would run for over 1,000 yards, marking the fourth time an Army player topped the 1,000-yard mark in the past 3 years. Seniors Clarence Jones and Benny Wright are the legs of this wishbone. Jim Young has called them one of the finest halfback tandems he's coached at West Point. They both took the ball over 5 yards per carry, and together have accounted for over 1,200 yards in Army offense this season. At fullback, it is junior Andy Peterson who charges up the middle, averaging 4 yards per carry. Senior Benny White led all cadets in receiving, ending his career gaining 18 yards every time he touched the ball. As the blood and guts of the attack, the offensive line saw seniors Joe Manossa, Tom Meyer, and Rob Dickerson pave the way for an Army ground game which ended up ranked 5th in the entire nation. Averaging over 276 rushing yards per game, this was the 3rd year in a row in which Army was ranked among the top 5 at season's end. Game day, Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Game, Army-Navy souvenir program.
Inside, the entire cadet corps would make the traditional march onto the field. Each and every one of them knew what was at stake in the upcoming contest.
Air Force was important to us, but Army Navy is even more important. The Air Force game this year was like the Battle of the Somme to us. Navy game is like D-Day. We're taking to Europe in World War II. We're going to just smash them. There's no Army battle that could even be compared to this. A whole war. This is it. This is our foe. We want to bring back the Commanders-in-Chief trophy from Air Force. Our biggest game of the year. It's not even a game. It's more than that. It's something that everybody gets a little fired up for. This whole week was dedicated to motivation and spirit for this game. We're going to win. We're up. The Corps are up. There are 11 men on the field, but they're backed up by the 12th. The whole Corps stands behind that 11.
12 men here! 12 men here! 12 men here! 12 men here! 12 men in the stands! Woo!
The teams were ready. The 12th man was ready. The stage was set for the 87th Annual Army-Navy Game. The coin toss took place at midfield, with Navy winning and choosing to receive. And so the cadets would kick off this year's classic with a spirit and a confidence that would prove hard to beat. Bit Rambush put the ball into the end zone, and Navy would start the attack from their own 20-yard line. In games in which emotions run high, Jim Young knew the importance of gaining and keeping the game's momentum. With Navy having the ball first, his defense would have to stop any thoughts of a Navy drive, and that is exactly what they did. On the very first play from scrimmage, number 17, Bill Sanders, stripped the ball, and defensive back Bill Horton recovered the fumble, beginning an onslaught of cadet hysteria. With an excited and inspired 12th man behind him, Torrey Crawford threw the ball on a crucial 3rd and 9 situation, connecting with Benny White for 15 yards. It was Crawford and halfback Benny Wright carrying the ball down to the 7-yard line before Keith Walker kicked the first field goal of his career. It quickly put Army on the scoreboard and put momentum right where Jim Young wanted it. On their next possession, Army gave a lesson in the ball control offense. They started on their own 9-yard line and traveled 84 yards. They used counters, fakes, and misdirections, but kept turning straight up the middle. The Navy defense was prepared to go to the outside, but Jim Young's first half tactic was to fake and then go full speed ahead. 4 backs carried the ball on this drive, stacking up 19 plays, 6 first downs, and holding the ball for over 8.5 minutes. The attack stalled at the 7-yard line, but again, Keith Walker was there to up the Army lead to 6-0. In their first 2 possessions, Army had scored both times, gaining more than 120 yards of territory. But offensive line coach Jim Shuck and his squad were busy planning much more.
Lining up in the low defense some. Now, on the backside, John, on the last play. Okay, what'd the guy do?
He did what Rob was saying he's doing.
For the wishbone offense to work, it depends on a disciplined and effective front line. On this day, Bill Schleiden, Ken Goodlow, John Olenek, Rob Dickerson, Mark Charette, and Joe Manossa were just that.
Make sure we communicate out there now. We got to be poised.
On the other end of the bench, defensive coordinator Bob Sutton and his platoon were busy fine-tuning a first-half shutout performance.
And how about the boom stunt?
See, the tight end and the wingback are cracking down on me.
We constricted, man.
Junior linebacker Ray Griffiths had led the cadets in tackles all season. And in this game, he was found zeroing in on Navy targets. In the first half, the midshipmen's battle chart showed 5 possessions. The results, 2 punts, 3 turnovers, and no penetration past the Army 37-yard line. Defensive end Lou Dainty forced the second Navy fumble, and Bill Sanders recovered it, while defensive back Chance Connor intercepted his 4th pass of the year. Meanwhile, Dave Shire was having the game of his career. A year ago, he had led the Black Knights in tackles, but a series of frustrating injuries had kept him out of Army's lineup since the 4th game of the season. He refused to miss this all-important battle, and through sheer guts and determination, he had come to Philadelphia ready to play. He would lead the Army defense with 15 tackles in the game, fighting with a pride and determination which inspired the cadet defense to again and again make the big plays. The blast signaled the end of the first half, with Army holding a slim 6-point lead. As the cadets headed for the locker room, they knew that more than 2 field goals would be needed to beat this hungry Navy squad. The Black Knights would have to hold on to the ball, the tempo, and the momentum in the second half. To ensure this, Army would unveil a secret weapon. It came in the form of junior back Dave Marks, and his performance would be the fuse that would see this Army team explode.
Here comes the kick, and it's a squibbler. Bounding down, picked up by Army's up back at the 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 to the outside, 50, 45 of Navy down to the 44.
The run back was just what the general had ordered, and the offense went right to work. In the excitement, Torrey Crawford let things get carried away. Luckily, Benny Wright was there to recover them.
25-yard line, all the way down to the 20. Fumble! And it's bounding down inside the 5. Army Wright picked it up. Benny Wright saved the day. Going to be second and goal as the fullback carries off the right side. Second and goal from the 1. Here comes the play. And it's again to Peterson. Touchdown! Peterson's in. Army's out by 6-4. 12-0.
The midshipmen came back on their next possession to score their only points of the game. That cut Army's lead to 6 and set the stage for the cadets' most important series of the game. The offensive line now took control, dominating a Navy line that outweighed them by an average of 25 pounds per man. Pitching to the right, sweeping to the left, charging up the middle. Jones, Crawford, Peterson, and Wright painted a 17-play, 79-yard wishbone masterpiece. Torrey Crawford put on the finishing touches himself, diving into the end zone for the score. Crawford's 15th touchdown of the year put Army ahead 20-7, but the offense would not stop there. On their next series, the Army drive halted at the Navy 41-yard line. 3rd and 3. Coach Young called for Crawford to keep the ball, and then watched as his junior speedster swept right for a 24-yard gain. That play put Crawford over the 100-yard mark for the 6th time this season, each time resulting in an Army victory. Clarence Jones took the ball the rest of the way, and Navy's hopes for a comeback were quickly sinking. As the offense celebrated on the sideline, the defense found itself with one last opportunity to excel. The midshipmen had advanced down to the Army 4-yard line, but this determined Army squad was not about to let them hit pay dirt again. On 1st down, it was linebackers Shire and Griffiths making the stop. 2nd down from the 3, Navy pitched right and went absolutely nowhere. Again, it was Griffiths in the Navy backfield on 3rd down, forcing the pass out of the end zone. 4th down saw Army in complete control. Jim Brock ended the attempt on top of the Navy quarterback, and once again, the long gray line had prevailed. For the 1986 Army team, this victory was their crowning achievement. For the 3rd year in a row, they had ended the season with a winning record, a feat no Army team had accomplished since the mid-1960s. The seniors now had won 2 Commander-in-Chief's trophies, and no other class had ever done that. They had come into this game with an all-important assignment: beat Navy. And they went out of it mission accomplished, job well done.